money, political power, and artificial intelligence. These are three of the most powerful forces shaping our world right now. So we're going to explore how they're all fusing together, creating this new reality that, while often operates just out of sight. And this isn't science fiction, not at all. Right now, automated systems are making decisions that affect your finances, your job, and even your fundamental rights. To really understand how we got to this point, we've got to look back at the initial promise of AI. It all starts with a story we've all heard, the bright, shiny promise of what AI can do for us. Both corporations and governments just love to talk about this. The idea is really simple. Use smart tech to make everything run smoother. So for you, that might mean a faster loan approval or more convenient public services. But for them, it means saving a whole lot of money and operating on a massive scale. And when we say a lot of money, we mean it. According to the global consulting firm McKinsey, AI could generate up to $1 trillion in additional value for the global banking industry. And that's every single year. That is a massive, massive incentive to automate as much as possible, as fast as you possibly can. But okay, beyond that trillion-dollar promise lies a much more complex reality. Let's peel back the curtain and look at what's actually being built behind the scenes. The key insight here is that the automation of finance and the automation of government, these things aren't happening in isolation. Nope, they are deeply connected, feeding off each other and reinforcing one another in what are called the automated bank and the automated state. So first up, you've got the automated banks. These are the financial giants just pouring resources into AI to do everything from assessing your credit risk to detecting fraud, all with one primary goal: maximizing their bottom line. And then, running right alongside them, you have the automated state. This is what happens when government agencies look at the efficiency and power of the automated banks and basically say, hey, we want in on that, adopting the same tools and, maybe more importantly, the same mindset. Now, this isn't just about governments buying some new software. It's way deeper. It's about a fundamental transfer of culture. The goal to maximize profit perfectly mirrors the goal to maximize efficiency. The tech used for credit scoring starts to inform how welfare checks are done, and that corporate secrecy, it finds a perfect parallel in government secrecy. There's a really clear pattern here. New AI tools are often cooked up and tested in the high-stakes world of finance. For instance, those automated credit scoring systems banks use, they basically laid the groundwork for things like China's social credit system. And similarly, the data matching techniques banks use to spot fraud were the engine behind Australia's controversial robo-debt welfare system. The tech just flows from the private sector to the public. So when you have these two powerful automated forces starting to use the exact same playbook, what does that actually mean for the rest of us? Legal scholar Frank Pasquale has this powerful metaphor for it: a one-way mirror. See, they can scrutinize every little detail of our lives, our spending habits, our social behaviors, but we can't see in. We can't see the algorithms. We can't see the data or the biases that are making these huge decisions about us. This lack of transparency, this opacity, it has serious consequences. Algorithms that are trained on historical data can end up perpetuating or even amplifying existing biases. That can lead to discrimination in everything from loan applications to welfare. And because these systems are often a total black box, it's nearly impossible to ask why or to challenge a decision you think is unfair. Accountability just starts to fade away. And this complexity, it's not just some technical side effect. It often acts as a deliberate shield. The sheer difficulty of understanding how these systems work makes it incredibly hard for anyone, journalists, regulators, or just regular citizens, to see the connections and hold power to account. Wow, okay. This all paints a pretty daunting picture. So, what can be done? Are the rules and laws we have now even close to enough to handle this new concentration of power? So, is this a problem we can solve with just a few small adjustments? A bit more transparency here, a new regulation there? Or does it demand something much more fundamental? Well, the argument is that simply focusing on procedural fixes, just making sure the right boxes are ticked, is not enough. It's kind of like having a speed limit sign, but no police to enforce it. Instead, what's being called for is a new social contract for the AI age. This means creating real, substantive regulations that truly protect our fundamental rights and, maybe most importantly, putting human empathy back at the center of systems that are becoming increasingly cold and automated.
Ultimately, the whole argument really boils down to this one crucial point. We can't allow ourselves to be forced to adapt to the logic of the machine. The technology, no matter how efficient or powerful it is, has to be designed and regulated to serve core human values, things like fairness, dignity, and justice.
And that leaves us with a final critical question. As the automated bank and the automated state become more and more powerful, more and more intertwined, who gets to write the rule book? Is it the tech companies, the financial institutions, the governments? Or is there a role for all of us to play in shaping a future that's not only efficient, but is also fair and, humane?